Welcome to episode 14 of the Target Score Brampton podcast. I'm your host, Matt Bonomi. He is your co-host, D. Denung, DMZ, whatever you want to call him. D. Finals Week, Balsera. D. Finals Week, the Finals Week. D. Finals Week, get it? Get it?
Yeah,
no?
I get it. You're butchering
okay.
it.
All right, well, one sec. Let me just get... Thanks, everybody. Yeah, thanks, everybody. Going to be a long show for you, D. We got a lot to get to, including a finals preview between the Brampton Honey Badgers and Winnipeg Sea Bears. But first, before we get to all of that, don't forget to follow us, Target Score Pod on Instagram, Target Score Podcast on YouTube, new episodes every Wednesday, constant content on the gram. And if you don't know where to go, right there, folks. You can also check out Target Score Winnipeg with Joey Slattery and Taylor, not Teddy Allen. Joey's going to be in the building at the CAA Center for Game 1, which is tomorrow. That's Wednesday, August 12th at 7 p.m. So he is in the province of Ontario. He's going to be in the building, gracing us with his presence. He's going to have a ton of content. He's trying to go live every day this week. He hopes that we will be with him, which, again, we will have more on throughout the show. That's the plan tomorrow. D, unfortunately, I mean, I'll let him explain his piece later, but I will be there tomorrow as well, hopefully going live with Joey throughout the game. I would tell you to check out Target Score Vancouver with Chris Wiggins and Andrew Savory, but
too soon, bro.
if you check that out, it's probably going to be a season in review episode. So sayonara to the O side or no side fellas over there. You can still check them out. And today, D, we don't need a guest. We don't need a guest because the star of today's program is the finals preview, something that we've been waiting for so long. We haven't had in Brampton since 2022. How are you feeling? How's your week been so far? I mean, I know it's Tuesday. The week is young, but how has your last week been in terms of hype around this Brampton team?
Well, first of all, you said first time in Brampton since 2022. This
Sorry,
is actually the first time in Brampton ever, okay? Because Hamilton is where it was in 2022. Yeah, exactly.
Last sound effect, I swear.
Man, this last week has been crazy, man. We were lucky enough to be in the building for that game against Niagara, and we'll talk about the ebbs and flows if you want to know like our immediate reaction in the sense that we jumped up at halftime during one of Joey's pods. That was a lot of fun trying to yell over the entertainment that was happening in the building. We actually had to move ourselves because it was too loud. But it was the mood at halftime. Like we were worried, right? Like Khalil had 20 points at half. We were like, this guy cannot miss a shot. It seemed like Brampton should have been up bigger in that game. But then again, Khalil hit that the shot at a half, like to beat the buzzer as well. It was just such a momentum shift in that entire game.
Dude, Khalil Ahmad is a sicko, number one. Khalil Ahmad, like if you are new to the CEBL and you are all of a sudden just like, here, let me do something quick here, D, because this is really bothering me. Let me just slow down the pace of this banner. There we go. Let's slow it down so the people at home can actually read. Khalil Ahmad is a sicko, dude. Like some of the shots he was hitting, like the woman that was sitting beside us courtside, every time he would hit a shot, I would hear, oh. I'm like, you know what, lady? That's the way this goes. That's the way this has always gone. There's no changing this. This is exactly who Khalil Ahmad is. It's scary because, like we said, like they just need to make the playoffs, and they did that. Niagara, they crawled into the playoffs, and for a minute there, I think you and I were both holding our breath. Like at halftime, I think Niagara was up 2 or something like that.
Bro, at halftime, you and I were like, which pose will they use for the statue that they inevitably put in front of the Meridian Center, right? Like, yeah, it has to be this, right? But it was crazy. We were just predicting like this has got to be the craziest run. Like, do you have to rename the MVP trophy? And then Xavier Moon is like, I got other thoughts about that because I'm headed back to another CEBL finals as well. But it was scary, and it was just like we said, like you just said, as long as they got in, they had a chance because they had enough vets on that team to make something happen.
That guy steady right here. They were up by 4 at half. He was at the game. Thank you for that. Yeah. Thank you for that clarification. What a game though, man. I mean, that was everything we could have asked for as well. Like that's been kind of the theme of this Brampton team. Like stuff slowly kind of is coming around the bend here where it's like, oh my gosh, second half of the season, we thought, I mean, I'm honestly going to say, I thought that this team wasn't going to get past the first round of the playoffs just based on how tough they'd kind of made their position or put them in they put themselves in a tough position. But now it's kind of all clicking. And let's take a look at actually some of those highlights from that. If I can do this without blowing up the whole stream. How's that? There we go.
Yeah,
Haven't started yet,
Love
folks. Don't you worry. There you go. But this game was crazy, man. Like everything about it was just like, I think kind of what we all wanted to see throughout the year. A good crowd in the building, good basketball, good defense there from MA, but like just so much stuff, like Khalil doing his thing, Trenton Flowers, Sean East coming down to the stretch there, like the last bucket, the last possession when we were like, who's going to hit this? And I'm thinking like Sean's got it. And then you give it to a guy, you give your flowers to the Matthew Moncrief, who you and I talked to head coach Serta after the game. Like he praised Moncrief and Tegra as being huge pieces. Like Tegra Eze was unreal for them. Matthew Moncrief seems to be the clutchest rebounder in the league. Like if that was a title, I'd give it to him because he's always right place, right time. And he had, I think, a couple of target score time winners throughout the season. Man, it's nice that it ended with him, a guy that came back from a concussion, got a big round of applause at practice the other day when he was cleared to play. It's nice that it kind of came down to something like that. But again, we'd be wrong to not give Khalil Ahmad right there doing stuff like that all game, his flowers as well. But it was just the perfect kind of game you could have asked for. Like we saw a crazy playoff performance from one of the best, if not the clutchest player in CEBL history in Khalil. And we also saw Brampton finally come through in a million different ways. What about this guy right here, Tyrese Hunter? He was like unbelievable.
Yeah, just to go back on Khalil, right? He had 20 points in the first half, and then I think he only had in the third and fourth quarter like 4 points combined. So credit to Brampton for shutting him down and just making him the focal point of what they wanted to do defensively and just make the other guys work for it and keep them in that basketball game. And I think I turned to you either late in the fourth or early target time, and I looked at the box score, and I'm like, Khalil only has 4 points in the second half. Like, kudos to Brampton. And you literally looked at me and you're like, bro, you didn't just do that. Like, I know that you're the king of jinxes on the broadcast, but that had sort of woken him up. I mean, he only finished with 30, but he had a couple shots in that target time. We're just like, oh God, I've just awoken the beast. I should have not said anything. And he kind of scared us a little bit in that target time.
He scared me the whole game. I'm thinking like, again, if you didn't get a chance to watch this game, if you're a Winnipeg fan and you were tuned in or you were getting prepped, or you were tailgating, you were out in your driveway or whatever parking lot, just hammering alcoholic beverages, go back and watch this 16-minute highlight tape that you're watching right here. Or if you're with us right now, keep your eye on that screen, because the shots Khalil was hitting were unreal. Like I'm talking hand in the face, top side, almost logo triple, just shot after shot after shot. And again, you could hear the groan from all these fans at once, everyone in unison. It was like, oh, like the whole gym just deflated, except for that guy right there. But the whole gym just like deflated as soon as he started hitting these shots. Kimball McKenzie was feeling himself, but then Brampton started to wake up, got some good stops. Trenton Flowers was at the head of that beast too. I mean, that guy balled out. That's why they brought him in. He said to us on the podcast, maybe a month ago when we had him on, that when we have to actually ask him about this, when we make the playoffs, I'm going to do something like dye my hair. And I think when he said, when we win it all, I'm going to like put cornrows or dye my hair. So he said something like crazy like that. So
you're talking about Trent Flowers, right?
Yeah.
With Tyson Hunter, like my bad. Yeah, he said he was going to color his hair. You're right.
Yeah, I think I might do mine too. You should too. Frosted tip. You're a Timberlake guy. Frosted tips. But it was just a nice, like all the pieces clicked for Brampton. And we've seen that a couple of times this season, but to beat a team that had so much momentum, it just makes you more excited for a team like there's that Khalil shot, man. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
well, you haven't even mentioned the fact that he went to the line 12 times, right? Like, and that's just kind of been all the Achilles heel of any team that's been trying to guard him, is trying to prevent him from drawing fouls and getting to the line and converting, right? He went 11 for 12. The guy doesn't miss from the free throw line. And there were a couple times where we were just sitting there and just like, how does he just constantly get these calls? And there weren't like too many bad calls. Like, he definitely earned them. But it's also the respect of the whistle and the respect that he's garnered from the refs, that they're always looking for that as well. The guy's just an absolute warrior. But on the other side, you're talking about Tyrese Hunter, 17 points, 5 from 6 from 3, which is something I'm going to want to talk about. But the biggest one obviously being, I mean, I don't want to spoil it in case no one's seen the highlights yet, but if if you live under a rock, it's been all over social, and obviously the game winner that he hit to end the game. But Tyree, like like this whole revolving door, what ifs, right? Like Roddy doesn't get suspended, and he's the one that's playing in that game against Ottawa. Like, how do I'm not to take away anything from Roddy. Roddy's been an absolute stud in his time that he's played. He played 5 games, started the last 4, was averaging 13 points. Trenton Flowers made an effort to point him out in my conversation with him and said, like, yeah, we can talk about me and Sean, but Roddy's kind of been the real star of this, right? Like anytime we've been down, he's kind of just put his head down and got his baskets when we needed it and sort of turned the momentum. And I've told you so many times, he's rebound the basketball or somebody's rebounded the basketball, given it to him, and he just darts down the court and he makes a decision for himself and usually a good one. And so it's crazy to think if the suspensions, if none of this had happened, like, do we even have Tyrese Hunter on this team? And Tyrese has just been so big for us. We've already talked on the broadcast about how well Tyrese Hunter played against Ottawa in all 4 of those games that they played against Ottawa, where they swept the season series, and he's just been able to parlay that over. And he left the team because he also had injuries that he was nursing and he was trying to get better for. But when the phone call was made that they needed him, he got up and he just absolutely balled out, and he's a huge reason why we're in the finals.
Yeah, and I think like the crazy part about him too is this isn't a guy that like just popped out of nowhere. Oh, there's the scuba. Oh my God. Okay, look at this shot, man. I'm like stuck watching these. Like like Tyrese is in his face.
Yeah.
And he still hits that. The thing that's amazing about Tyrese Hunter is, again, he was at home with that or that foot injury. And he came back, and it's not like he saw like 10 minutes. Of gameplay or something. Like he started the game. He was getting significant minutes. All these highlights we're watching, he's on the court, which makes you think like, man, this guy was a big part of this team. And I think one of the things in the CEBL that may confuse people is when guys get released or when guys get put on practice squads, whatever, maybe it's not because they're not good enough. It's because of roster moves or space or things like that. And in this case, it's
having to play a Canadian as well on the court at all times.
Yeah,
like,
the import
there's little things like that.
And I think one of the things that maybe confused people about Tyrese that like I talked to was like, oh, is he not good enough? And we're like, well, no, he's not good enough. It's just the fact that he's injured and the spots, like they need someone to play now kind of thing. So having him come back healthy is crazy. We got word earlier this morning that he will be playing. So he's staying on the roster. Roddy Peters is also coming back. So he served his 2-game suspension after the old scuffle. And I loved what you did in that recap show we did the other day. When I'm opening it up, I'm like, oh man, if you miss it, you're like, yeah, you're doing the old, like, the low punches.
Street Fighter.
Someone's already knocked you out by then. But Roddy Peters will be back in the lineup after serving the 2-game suspension, French for suspension. And Tyrese Hunter will also be in the lineup. So they're going to coexist. So we wonder where the minutes will get chopped there. I mean, we have some ideas, but I think both of those guys, like we just said, based on the last performance or last couple of performances from Tyrese, and like you said, Roddy, double-digit points in every game he's played in this season, those guys need to be in the lineup.
Yeah, and you and I discussed this when we were watching the game, but looking at the box score at halftime, I'm like, oh, Serta's really shortening his lineup, right? He's only, in this game, he had 7 players play over 20 minutes, and 2 of them went over 30 minutes, and that was East and Flowers. And that's not going to change. That's probably going to get even tighter when it comes to the finals, right? And Serta wanting to go with his best guys. I mean, even Tegra, I think Tegra played over 20 minutes off the bench. And again, like we'll talk about this over and over again, but the Tegra we saw at the beginning of the season, if you had told me that this would be the result and they would rely on him this much at the end of the season, I would have never, ever believed you. Like, and again, shout out to him because like pregame, he's the first one stretching it. He's working on his mobility. Like he's always ready to go. He's a guy that's always been waiting for his number to be called, his bell to be rung. And now when we need size, because him and Moncrief are the guys that have been so dominant in the paint and the reason that we've been able to win the rebounding and offensive rebounding battles, like he's stepping up to the challenge. There's a few times where we got angry. We're just like, can you just throw it down as opposed to lay it up in? And I think slowly his teammates will start to get on him as well. But like this guy is only going to get better with time.
Yeah, and that's what sort of said to us after the game too. Like, you and I talked to him for a period of time, and then I think when you took off, I was talking to him for a couple more minutes, and he said, "Man, like, what about Tegra?" He's like, that is like he is a must-play player now. Like, he was huge against Winnipeg in that nationally televised game on the road, which they won 88-86. And then he earned a second start after that. And then he was starting ball games. Like, he's seeing significant minutes now. And it's such a game of confidence for this team. Like, we saw when they won 5 in a row to start the season, 7-1. They were confident, right? And then you see that little dip there. And it's like now they're starting to get that. What's that clip? What did Teddy say? I think I got my swagger back.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ironically enough.
Like that. Yeah. Like, these guys now have some swagger back in their system here. They feel like that high school football team in Michigan that was playing on Ford Field, right? Like,
and remember us talking to John Ross and Jermaine halfway through the season. They said, hey, this team is lacking sort of the grit and the toughness that you need in order to play good basketball. And, you know, that was the reason they brought in guys like Roddy and even Taj Green, because he's a guy that, I mean, even in the short stint, we've talked about this, he was really vocal and he was stand up for guys that he had just met for, you know, within the last week. And we finally got to the point of the season where these guys will not be pushed around. And in some ways that brawl, although it affected Scarborough more than it did us in terms of suspensions and missing games and some of the punishments that were handed down, although some of it's still unfair. And I mean, that's a revisionist history and we can go back and, you know, dissect that one day. But it's crazy that game has seemed to like brought these guys together and made them more of a cohesive unit. And it seems like these guys are willing to, you know, catch strays for one another. And it's wild how that's become a blessing in disguise. And that's the reason we're talking about these guys in the finals right now.
One day, CEBL historians will go back to the table. They will meet in a dark room in the depths of the CAA Center, and they will debate whether or not the Miles Powell non-suspension and simple slap on the wrist, or the Calgary and Vancouver instant replay finish of last year, which was more dampening. And scene.
And scene, yeah. I know that's actually a great debate, you know, which one was more
man, I think
we were looking for
like obviously the Vancouver and Calgary thing was crazy. I mean, we're in playoffs, so we're talking about playoff stuff anyway, and just touching on the past here quick.
Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs?
The Powell thing, they just tossed the championship away in my mind. Like, they just blew the whole thing. Like, they had Miles Powell played. I get that. But like, I'm talking about the Miles Powell thing of not having his go-to guys. Like Frank Mitchell, those guys are inseparable. They're like the best duo in the league.
I think if Scarborough wins the whole thing, when you're looking back and comparing all the seasons, like you could make a debate they had the most perfect season, right? We were talking to S about this, who was sideline for the national game, close friend of ours, my former CBL weekly teammate. We were saying that, like, to some voters, like, that may have put a stain on how they swayed their votes and how they decided to hand out some of the hardware. So it wasn't just, you know, impactful in the sense that, like, they weren't able to go as far as they had hoped for in the playoffs. But I also think when it comes to accolades and rewarding some of the players, I think some of them may have jeopardized their chances, which puts a further stain on their season, which really sucks.
Let me just do something here. Pull up a comment here.
Yeah. This is a Brampton podcast, CFL.
Hey, be careful. That's Jimmy's boy.
I don't want is it?
Yeah, I don't want you to get all.
Listen, we have nothing against Winnipeg. We've made that clear.
Yeah. I'm not saying
you're not going to get slander from us. We will make fun of Joey, but we will not make fun of Sea Bears fans.
I made a joke about smoking that Winnipeg pack. We're gonna go back here, look at the winner here.
Yeah, let's break this down, man. Like, this is crazy. I you know what? I wish we would have talked to Serta about what he drew up here. In terms of the final play and him pulling up and hitting that shot. But I just, like, again, ballsy, right? Like, we always know that East wants to be the guy, and East tries to, you know, create for himself and try to, he wants that ownness and he wants to be able to hit that. But Tyrese, just, oh my God. Like, I've seen it from every angle, and it's not like he had a clean shot. Like, Khalil played great defense. But man, the celebration after is something I'll never forget. That's going to be certainly a core memory for me.
Favorite part of this whole thing, I mean, you can't really see it in there. But the favorite part of the whole thing is team CEO Al Whitley running on the court. He's fired up with Leonard.
And Leonard Asper, man.
What do we have music going here? What's going on? What is Joey in here now? Get this music off.
I can't hear any music.
Playing?
It's just
I got Joey's podcast playing in the background. That's what happens. Trying to infiltrate the system here, man. Get this. Winnipeg's trying to take over. Get this garbage out of there.
We got Teal Party, guard the den. Jeez.
What's going on here? Get this out of here,
honey,
man.
Stand up. Let's get in the comments here, folks. Yeah, we have the Asper Bowl. You should highlight that comment. That was the first thing I said to Leonard. I'm like, we got the Brother Bowl. Like, this is sick.
Well, we did the brother graphic earlier this year on the broadcast, but when they played each other, and we'd asked Leonard about that before. And I remember asking him, I think last year, and he said, I just want to beat my brother. Like, I just want to win. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that like, it felt good to beat my brother. And he goes, oh yeah, I got to get him on the
Leonard is the younger brother.
I'm not answering. I don't know. Okay. I feel like answering. I'll say yes. I'll say yes. I'll say yes.
Think so yeah.
I would think so too. Maybe. Oh wow, here we go. All right, the Real Target podcast.
I don't think he's talking about us, Matt. So
no, I don't think so either. I don't think so either. Joey's on a plane right now on his way to Ontario, so I don't want to answer on behalf of Joey.
We're trying to pay the bills here for the podcast. Okay, we're just doing our job.
But I will. Target Score Winnipeg is the real. Okay, all right. Roast hour. Anybody else got any more chirps? Anything else? We want me to pull out the boo again? I can do that. Well, look, Winnipeg folks, you're gonna get your business right here. I'm gonna click play on this window to the right. But first, before I hit play on this window to the right, D, we got to take a look at something.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Matt, so you got to tell me, how did it feel to watch this game courtside as a fan? And like, it's funny because I asked you, is it muscle memory for you to kind of do the calls in your head as you're watching this game? I mean, you're a real talker during games, so I don't know how you have the capacity to do both, but what was it like to watch this game from courtside and to be so close to the bench?
Man, it was cool. Like, there's Brandon Moon too, like right in front of us. The ladies to the right of us, they were into it. The guy behind them was into it. I mean, we were into it. It's nice to finally watch a game as a fan, but it's like sports, man. It's like, you would know this too. You watch a game and then you start to think of like storylines in your head, or like plays that are going on, or like how someone's performing. And I turned to you and like, I feel like everything we said to each other, nothing was like, yeah, man, what are you doing after the game? Everything was like, man, what is this guy doing? Like, why are they not playing him? Like, we need to hit a shot. Like, so you're invested in it. And that's the fun part of it. But being beside the bench, shout out to Elias, the guy that runs the show in Brampton. And he hooked us up with those tickets, which, I mean, again, great seats, ton of fun. You're right by the bench. We had the Serta Boys t-shirt on there, head coach Serta to the right of us. But it was fun to be engaged. Like, you're into it, man. You're on the floor. And again, for those that haven't been to a CEBL game, a CEBL game, sorry. If you ever get a chance to sit on the floor, it's an insanely fun atmosphere. I know the guys in Winnipeg, Joey rants and raves about, oh, here we go. Pull it up. D is so great. Man, that's why Joey's okay. All right, that's fair. I'm not going to challenge these comments. I mean, I can bring Joey in. Hey, if you
if Joey's your GOAT, the bar's pretty damn low, so I'm okay to be called cringe.
Get this one back up. We need good vibes in here, man. We need good vibes.
Yeah, exactly.
Get that guy steady back in. But it was nice. It was fun, and that's what makes me excited about Winnipeg, man. I heard a little rumor that Winnipeg has a ton of fans and folks coming to this game one tomorrow at the CAA Center. They'll be sitting pretty close to the action, so I hear. But that's what makes me excited to watch the games. Like, you may be going to Winnipeg as well. That's still up in the air, but it's exciting to see the atmosphere that they have there. And like you and I said, man, I'm going to start running these highlights from this Vancouver and Winnipeg game. But the thing that was so cool about this final, like we said, is it's a win-win for the league. Like, Winnipeg fans are the best fans in the league, in my opinion. They show out. They're at every game. They sell out. Joey said maybe upwards to over 12,000 people at these games. But they deserve something, right? Like Joey said to us, they'd never won a playoff game at home. And now all of a sudden they're in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Good fan bases deserve good things. Brampton, the same thing. Like, they're people that have been dragged through the mud the last couple of years with this team that things haven't been good. So this is a win-win for the league. I mean, Winnipeg gets what they want, and they finally deserve a packed house, potentially 2 games at home in the finals where you can maximize the entertainment value, all that stuff. And Brampton also finally gets rewarded for putting together a darn good team after a kind of a second half slump there. And the fans there too love it. So, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, it's a win-win for the league. It's a win-win for both fan bases. And I think no matter who picks up the dub in this series, I would say as a fan of the CEBL, I think everybody kind of goes home happy because both teams have gone further than I mean, this is the furthest Winnipeg's ever gone, but for Brampton, the furthest they've gone since what, 2022, right?
Mm-hmm. No, I think I'm envious of guys like Joey S, Peter, Javon, Donovan, all the guys that are going to be on the broadcast calling this game, because the storylines are just everywhere, right? You got a Brampton team that started 7-1, got punched in the face a lot in the middle part of the season. Roster had to be stitched continuously, trying to adjust. A flower bloomed with Trenton, who came out of nowhere. We were waiting on Jameer Nelson all year. And we were fortunate enough to fill the gap in the voids left by him. And he unfortunately never showed up, but we still have put together a roster that is fitting for a CEBL finals. And then on the other side, Winnipeg was, touted as one of the favorites. Xavier Moon making his triumphant return. Teddy Allen and him, the idea of them together, scary and living up to its billing. Jeremiah Tillman, great story. I love that guy. Acott was great. Rambo, a youth sports coach leading his team to the finals. And then obviously the things that happened at the end of the season for the Sea Bears, unfortunately, right? Not having Teddy for this finals run, because he certainly would be very, very impactful, and not Tillman not being there, Acott not being there, and still rallying their troops together. Rambo doing his job, and like I feel so validated having him on my Coach of the Year ballot. In my top 3, because this is a reason you put him on, because he was able to make the most of the situation and the veterans on his team. And, you got a youth sports athlete, Simon Hildebrand, who's flourishing at the right time. So you love to see Canadian products shine at the right time as well. It's just, again, there's storylines everywhere. There's so much to talk about. And it's just, and again, 2 franchises that are, the first time for the Honey Badgers since moving to Brampton, giving Brampton their shot at a championship, and then Winnipeg getting there for the first time in its franchise history as well. And then 2 owners who are passionate about this league and being able to compete and against their siblings. Again, it's theater.
Oh my God, that dunk was insane. Mr. McGowan's. The crazy thing too is it's like hockey when people say like depth wins you championships, and like hockey coaches say too all the time, after playoffs or during playoffs, it's always like, man, like everyone's banged up. Every team is playing hurt. These are these 2 teams. Like, they have injuries. They have suspensions on Brampton's side. For Winnipeg, they have injuries and guys leaving for other reasons that unfortunately they need to. But that's what it's all about, man. Like you say, Simon Hildebrand, like what do you have, 24 in this game here? This was a guy that had 7 the game before. Like, you step up, and that's when you really get the test. It's the ultimate test of how good your roster is. And again, Mike Rainbow building this team, like these are 2 first-year head coaches in the league in Rainbow and Serta. So they also deserve a ton of respect for getting this done. And to have these gaps in their roster, like losing Teddy Allen is not one of those things where it's like, yeah, I'm just going to pick up an American shooting guard and we'll be good. Or like an American point guard. Like, you need to fill a void. Xavier Moon's done an excellent job with that. Isaiah Osborne, who's going to hit the Jimmy right there, steps up. Simon Hildebrand, McGowan's, like, they have a ton of firepower. And I think a lot of people were mailing this game in as a Vancouver win, like an easy Vancouver win. But Winnipeg showed, man, like there is heart, there's hustle, they're blue collar, hard hat work boots, and they filled all the positions nicely. Like, this team is scary for a lot of reasons.
I want to highlight this comment specifically because, Simon, in the course of the season, he averaged 8 points per game, solid 49% shooting, 1.3 threes. Like, he's very, like he said, a very Swiss Army, like a guy that you just want on your team and count on to do, everything that you need him to fill in sort of the gaps that are left from Xavier Moon and Teddy Allen, all those other guys. And then in these playoffs, these 2 games, he's averaging close to 16 points per game and hitting 3 triples in those contests as well. And when we get to sort of, our preview and the things that we're looking forward in this game, like the differences for me are going to be threes, rebounds, and protecting that basketball, not turning it over. And a huge part of the 3 aspect of it is because of Simon and what he's been able to do as he trots on the court there.
Yeah, the thing too that is very interesting for me is this Brampton team swept the season series. Like, they won both of the games, which, I mean, people may look back and at the beginning of the season they won that game and it was early. The rosters look a lot different. So you kind of wipe that or push that under the rug as in, you know what? Okay, it is what it is. Like, different team, different time of year. The game that Brampton won in Winnipeg, the nationally televised game, that was interesting, where it was like, okay, there was a lot of comment about the officiating. I mean, again, Rainbow was very vocal post-game, and rightly so. I mean, Serta also probably had some thoughts on that he probably kept to himself. But there was a lot of kind of controversy around that game because people thought the whistles kind of patrolled the outcome of that. And was that fair? I don't know. I mean, you and I watched it. We thought both ways, but now it's like you finally get a chance. And this is the blessing of this new playoff setup. Like, it's not one and done. It's not one and done. So like there's room for a little bit of that. And right there, yeah, didn't have Moon in either game. Yeah. So like there are a lot of factors that go in. Like we talked about the other day, like this is the best setup now because you can't just come out and play poorly, or you can come out and play poorly, but you have a chance to kind of make up for it next game. And it's tough because it's 1 and then 2, or one game on the road and then 2 at home for at least Winnipeg. So, I mean, it would be ideal to win the first game and then go home and have to finish off 1 and 2. But it's also difficult for Brampton. They win 1 and going into the Canada Life Center, that's a tough place to play. But it's nice that there's room to breathe now. Like, it's not like we have to play good. And if one guy plays poorly for 1 game, it's an outlier on his season, then you're in the mud right away. But that's one of the blessings with this new schedule, thank God. And I think to kind of speak to the point about the roster construction too, you and I said that this was the best. I mean, I said it at least. I don't know if you agreed with it, but this was the best season we've had in a long time in terms of complete rosters for all teams heading into the playoffs. And the exception was Teddy Allen. And I think a lot of people in my mind, like we talked to Winnipeg people,
I mean, and Scarborough would argue their game against Niagara, unfortunately, didn't have the best version of their roster either, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And we had, and we talked to Joey about it and a couple other Winnipeggers, and they said, man, this is true too. Good pickup by John there. It was 4-point win and then 2-point win. They said, man, like the morale, it's really tough right now. The practices, these guys are fighting though. Like they know what's on the line, but you get the feel that it's kind of like, man, no Teddy, no Emmanuel Acott, and who was the third they're missing? Acott, Teddy.
Jeremiah Tillman.
Ed Tillman, former Honey Badger, Jeremiah Tillman. Like the vibe was kind of like, man, what are we gonna do? Like, and then we see Scarborough get waxed without their guys, and it kind of gives you that feeling of like, oh my gosh, well,
don't say waxed. It came down to the final shot.
I'm not waxed, but I mean, like they lose, and you're kind of thinking, well, like shorthanded team, similarity, shorthanded team out west, like, is that what it's going to? And then they run the tables on Saskatoon, and then it's like you start to feel a little bit of that momentum, and it's like, okay. Same with Brampton. Like people tagged Ottawa as the team to beat Brampton in that Eastern semifinals. Like everyone in the said that Ottawa was the best team, hand up, in terms of athleticism, creativity, and no one wanted to play them in the playoffs. And Brampton came out and you get that win, and it's all about momentum, man. As long as you make the dance, you can pick any partner you want. Well, I mean, if I went back to your high school days or elementary school days, you weren't picking any partner, but you didn't have that luxury. But what I'm saying is once you get in, all you need to do is kind of get on a roll, and then you can get going. Like the 2 top teams in the league in Vancouver and Scarborough rolled the whole year. And then they get to the playoffs and they get caught with their pants down, right? Like circumstantial things. But as you and I said before with Joey, like the best team never wins. the best record, the best team, like Scarborough 20-4, everyone would have said, oh yeah, that's an easy win. Like I said to you a minute ago, they have a full roster. They blew the championship. Do I believe that? Yeah. Would I have been shocked if they didn't win with that full roster? Probably not, because that's generally how sports work. And especially in this league, man, like Niagara, the last couple of years has not been the best. Like they've won the East, but they're not necessarily, I mean, roster wise, the best player or the best team in the league. They're good. But in this case, that kind of gives me vibes of this. And that's why I don't think Winnipeg needs Teddy. That's a wild thing to say, but you unlock a different version of Xavier Moon. You have Hildebrand, who's obviously getting a lot more touches, McGowan's, Osborne. Like there are enough guys on this team that can fill in. And again, that may sound wild to people in Winnipeg because Teddy is the god. Teddy is loved. And obviously, again, we continue to wish him a speedy recovery, but losing Teddy is awful, but if you can survive without him, then guess what? If it works, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. I mean, you got to the finals without, arguably, in my opinion, the guy that's going to win MVP.
Yeah. Yeah, it is crazy. Like I'm just looking back at the schedule right now. I'll never forget that game that they played in Winnipeg and how elated we were that they were able to pull that off. And so I'm glad they got one on the road because, whatever the outcome is on tomorrow's game and if they should be able to be successful at home, that experiences really go a long way when they enter the Canada Life Center. And I just can't imagine what the vibes are going to be. I think Joey was already telling us that the lower bowl's basically sold out and now they're looking at the upper bowl. But you're right, Matt. Like none of these teams necessarily are the best teams during the regular season. I mean, it's already been brought up that both these teams are the second seed. I'm waiting for confirmation on it, but I'm pretty sure Brampton would be the first sub 500 team to win a championship too, which is crazy as well. But this team has earned like through these last two games and the roster that they've put out, like they don't look like a sub 500 team. I think if they had a chance to run the whole season with this roster, they would definitely look better than their record shows.
Because we're talking about this or we're showing highlights from this Winnipeg-Vancouver game, I wanted to bring up this comment from John. What do you guys think about Vancouver? Creek only playing 3 games and coming in late, and then Julius taking the bench back in the playoffs. How about we stir up a little controversy soup here, D? The Creek thing, I don't know about you, I'm fine with. He needs to be on the active roster for 5 games. He needs to appear, I think it was for more than a minute in 3 of those games in order to be considered playoff eligible. I'm fine with that because a ton of guys do that. Enough in the past where we've seen it where it's like, these guys are coming in for reinforcements. Second part of the question, Julius taking the bench back in the playoffs. What do you think of that? I'm kind of 50-50 on that. I mean, I want to say not upset, but I am more in my feels for I gotta figure out how to word this. I would say I feel
sympathetic.
I feel more sympathetic for Rans Brempong than I do the team losing because Ransford came in as the assistant coach, took over as interim head coach, and did a great job of leading this team to the Western Conference finals, to the Western Conference title. Freudian slip. Western Conference title, and then it's kind of like, okay, well, you did your job, but now Kyle's going to come in and do that. And Kyle Julius, again, is an accomplished head coach. I mean, there's nothing there that would lead you to say, well, he shouldn't be coaching this team. But it just makes me feel bad for Rams who came in and did the job. And then now it's like, okay, well, by the way, you're now back on the seat to the left of me and I'm going to run the show. But, I mean, Kyle is still the general manager. I didn't know that was happening. Did you know this was happening?
I had no idea. I think I agree with you that the whole Mitch Creek thing, like it's just what's the word I'm looking for? It's one of the things that, it's in the rule book and you're able to do it. So do it. Right. And Mitch won an MVP last year. And I think he's earned the right and the respect of his teammates to come in when he did and play for this team. It just obviously sucks for opposing teams because now that's something you got a game plan for that you didn't anticipate. With the Julius, like, It's tough. It really is, because Kyle has also earned the right to be able to do that. Like, if you told me, what is the Spurs coach right now? God, ask me right now. Yeah, look it up right now. But the current coach, who's done a fantastic job,
Mitch Johnson.
Yeah, Mitch Johnson. If you told me Mitch Johnson had to coach, halfway through the year, and then Popovich was going to come in, like, that's like, you just do it, right? Because it's Popovich.
Yeah.
He's a GOAT. And like, you kind of just got to look at the history of Kyle. And I know there's some people in Vancouver that won't agree with me, but there's just like, with Kyle and the history of this league and how long he's been with the franchise, he's kind of earned the right. And those are his guys as well. Like, we know that Mitch Creek would run through a wall through his coach, and we've heard him stand up for his coach, during shitty times. And so it's really tough. It's a tough decision and a tough position to be in. But ultimately, like, again, I think he's just earned the right to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I think it kind of comes back up to this comment right here. Not to get too deep into the league office stuff, because
let's hope so.
But yeah, I would say yes. I mean, I certainly think there needs to be a commissioner in this league. I mean, we were treated to how many years of Mike Morreale, who was front and center, who always answered the bell. He was the guy that basically would always show face when things were happening, that kind of deal. And I will say, like, I think you do need someone like that to patrol things as well, right? Like a situation that happened in Scarborough recently. Like, someone's got to answer the bell and get in there to kind of understand how. Sorry, I'm trying to line up another video here for you. But to understand how things work and why things are happening and the reasoning behind things. And I think that's like things like this coaching thing and these decisions that are made would be policed in a different way, maybe. I mean, a commissioner is the face of your league. I mean, you need a commissioner. There's no doubt about that. That's generally how that works. I would say, though, the tough part is you can't. I think it's very hard to bring a commissioner in the middle of the year.
Oh yeah, no, this has to be an off-season thing, right? Like, I think whoever comes in deserves the opportunity to have a full off-season to evaluate, look, and properly plan. Like, it's not fair to just bring someone halfway through the season and expect them to make big decisions like that.
100%. And I think you need to also, again, give this new regime that's running the league some grace, because there's a lot to do here. There's a lot to understand and to kind of digest as you're taking over the league. But at the same time, too, this is good. At the same time, too, I mean, you can't wait forever, right? Like, you need to have someone. And again, that's why when things go wrong, someone needs to pop up. Like, we talked about the suspensions in Scarborough and the suspensions in Brampton. I think one of the first things we said was, like, there needs to be a statement on this. Like, someone needs to release a statement saying the league is investigating and this and that. Like, you can't go radio silent for a day and a half. And when everybody's posting about it, people are curious about it. That's why I will commend Winnipeg very much for handling the Teddy stuff. Like, when the Teddy stuff happened, it was like, hey, we know what happened. This happened to Teddy. We're figuring it out. This and that. Aspirin Rainbow with him at the hospital and this and that. Like, so there's transparency again, right? Not to go back down that rabbit hole, but the idea that I think there certainly needs to be a commissioner. It's definitely not Joey. I think we can all agree on that. As much as I would love to see him struggle in that position although Joey's tapped into the league enough where it's like, yeah, I could see him making some pretty big time decisions here.
Yeah, I'm not going to give him the benefit, or I'm not going to give him any sort of praise or glow on our podcast. Okay, we can do that when we do the share podcast, and we can have him do his campaign or vouch for himself. But no, I agree with you. I really hope that's something that gets addressed. I don't want to go too deep into the weeds with this, but we all know how respected Mike Morreale is, and he's someone that I would have ran through a wall, and I'm super grateful for the opportunities that he created for a lot of us that were getting into this business and into this sport for the first time. And so I just want to see some, like you said, some policing and some accountability. And I think you need that, and that comes with the commissioner. So I really do hope that's something that that the CEBL and the folks behind the scenes make a priority. And that's kind of all I really want to say about that.
Absolutely. As we watch these highlights, this was the game from July 25th when Brampton played. Nice. Look who's learning how to make banners, man.
Yeah, I tried to separate the July 25th on a separate bar, but it wasn't working out for me, so I did my best.
Dot in between there.
Okay, let's do that. I'll fix that right now. You keep talking.
Fired. But this game to the rights, this is his July 25th game, the latest meeting between these two teams, the one, of course, that ended on those, again, controversial free throws that some may call them. But we talked about the guard play. Nice. Look at this guy. Rehired. We talked about the guard play between these two teams. That's one of the most exciting aspects of this matchup. I mean, McGowan's, Moon, Osborne, Hunter, Flowers, East. To me, that's like the coolest thing that we could probably watch. And then additionally, one of the storylines that I'm going to keep my eyes on, D, and I don't know about if you've thought about this much, but I'm excited to see Keon Ambrose Hilton. Keon Ambrose Hilton's playing a Western opponent, guys that he's familiar with from his days in Edmonton, and so is Sean East. And Sean played amazing in that game against Winnipeg. What do you have, 38 or something?
Yeah.
Like, which was a single game high, a career high for him too, like a Brampton record or a Honey Badger record. Here he is right here, going coast to coast off the strip in the bucket. But like there's some familiarity there too that's also nice. Like these guys, like they have a chance now to kind of get back in the groove. They've seen this team twice, but the exciting thing is too, this is Western Eastern Conference, obviously. So you don't play 4 times. So you really don't know what to expect. And that's kind of like the parody of the whole thing. I think people that are trying to pick a winner here, I've talked to a handful of people in the past couple of days, and it's pretty split down the middle. But I think the guard play is going to be one of the sick things to watch. 3-headed beast. Again, Osborne, McGowan's, Moon, East, Hunter, and Flowers. I think that's worth the price of admission in itself.
Yeah, I mean, like I've got the numbers. I'm a numbers guy. Like we talked about, no Teddy, no Tillman, no Acott, no problem for Winnipeg because Moon's been averaging 22 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. The really impressive stat for a guard, 0.5 turnovers. And we talked about how important Sean East was protecting that basketball against Ottawa. I think he had ultimately had 0. Right? We talked about how if your guards can make sure that there's no points off turnovers, there's no possessions going the other way, it proves vital and important. And you talked about the guard play in this game. That'll be really, really important. But it's all these role players that have stepped up since Teddy hasn't been here, right? Jelani Watson-Gale averaging 19 points on 54% shooting, the 4 triples. Trey McGowan, 58% from the field. Isaiah Osborne, who's been the bright spot for Winnipeg. I know Joey's been talking about it ad nauseum, but he's had, a brutal second half to the season after starting off really well. He's shooting 52% from the field. They're both averaging 16 points per game. Already talked about Hildebrand. The biggest thing for me, Matt, is in these 2 games, they're averaging 103 points in 2 games, shooting 49%.
They're insane.
Unfortunately, if you're Brampton, you're not going to win basketball games if you allow Winnipeg to do that. We've already talked about recipe for Brampton being successful, and it's keeping teams under 92 points, which they've managed to do in these victories as well, right? They held Niagara to 86 points in that last game as well. So that's going to be the big difference maker, is the fact that Winnipeg's offense somehow looks better than it did with Teddy Allen, but it's because they're moving and spreading the basketball, and these guys are actually getting the opportunity to put the basketball in the bucket.
Yeah. Again, that's the thing that's perplexing to me. Like, you lose that guy right there, the potential MVP. Again, I will back him again. He was on my MVP ballot as the top guy, but
me too.
Full transparency. Yeah. Transparency here on the pod. You lose him and somehow you end up playing to the same or better level. That's just, again, a testament to how good this roster is built. It's the same thing with Brampton too, right? Like, you have all your guys, you lose a guy like Roddy Peters who was starting games for you, and then they still play great. Like, they fill in the cracks where they need to, which makes this series so kind of cool because there's so many different pieces that can contribute. Like this guy right there, Tegra Eze. like we said, having unreal games for Brampton now. Like that guy may drop 20 points in game 1 and have 10 rebounds. Like he could have had 20 points the other day. He missed a couple of layups. Like we said, we didn't slam him, but I mean, Osborne could drop 30. Like there's so many wild cards in this series that it makes it so much fun to try to predict, but also just to watch. Like I could watch these highlights all day, man.
And you know what makes this so fascinating? Because for the first time we have a best 3. Like the coaching is going to be the biggest X factor here because it is now a chess match, right? First game, how do you just, what did you do well? What didn't you do well? What can you take advantage of the next game? How do you counterpunch in games 2 and 3? And so that's where it's like, in a one-off, it's a sour loss to take, right? Because it's like, frig, if I'd known these things, I would have adjusted accordingly and planned for this. And you've got 2 guys who are great brains of the game in Serta and Rainbow, sorry. And so, yeah, and it's crazy that their experiences are 2 different ones, right? Like we talked about Rainbow and his U Sport experience. Well, Serta's done a fantastic job in the G League, and without whistle blowing, like he has an opportunity to be a head coach in some places as well. And those are things that I'm sure will come to light in the off season once there's a champion crowned here in the league. But this is the first time where it's like, coaches do make a difference and there's adjustments in the game, but it's the fact that they'll have full game tape to plan accordingly for games 2 and 3 as well.
Are you guys coming to Winnipeg? Again, like we said off the top of the show, D potentially going. I am less than likely to go, but the good news is Joey will be here in Ontario with us. He's actually coming.
He's literally on a flight right now.
So he is joining us. I will be at the game tomorrow with Joey. I think he has a ton of fun stuff planned throughout the week for the Target Score Podcast Network. Live shows, check-ins, all kinds of stuff. I think, again, like we said, he wants to go live every day this week and have us on there with him at some point. His hope that was we would go to Winnipeg, but with scheduling things, it might be a little tough on my end. For you, D, though, I think you're up in the air potentially.
I'm more likely than not. I'm more optimistic than Matthew at this point. In Matthew's defense, it's been a very expensive summer. A lot of traveling for your boy. We will never forget when I had to, fill in the void for his West Court Gate or whatever we called it. You're awakening this summer and having a lot of fun, taking in some FIFA games. Anyways, if you want to remember what that was like, you can scroll back in previous episodes. But for me, very, very likely. I've never been to Winnipeg, and Joey is certainly making his case for both of us of why we had to be there. And if the arena is going to be as packed and brought into life, Canada Life Center, play on pun there, but like life as anticipated, it's going to be really hard for me to miss. So fingers crossed. But if you guys keep calling me cringe, I don't feel safe coming to Winnipeg. So I'm just going to put that out there.
Thank you, John. We appreciate that. Love it when you all
Thanks,
get
John.
together. Yeah, so do we. I mean, we love it. We're looking forward to an exciting week of shows and fun things that we can chef up for you guys alongside Joseph. And get the ball rolling on what should be an exciting series between 2 teams. That
can I before we sort of wrap up here, there's just 3 things I want folks to look out
3
for.
Things.
Your D. Let's call us your D's keys. All right,
D's
these are your D's keys for game 1. All right, so
3
the
and
3
D.
I've already talked about it earlier in the podcast. Like, I think that the 3 things that we'll have to look out for are threes, rebounding, and protecting that basketball, making sure that there are no turnovers. Winnipeg hitting close to 16 threes per game in this series versus their 10.8 during the regular season. Brampton only averaging 8.5. So I think we're going to see a lot of threes in this game. Against Vancouver, they went 18 from 34 against Van. So I really, really think Coach Rainbow and these CBRS players are really going to see if they can continue to shoot the way they have been. So perimeter defense is going to be really, really critical for Coach Serta and his staff. And then the rebounding battle. We've talked about how great the Brampton bigs have been. Moncrief averaging 10 rebounds per game. Eze somehow averaging 12 rebounds per game. He played 23 minutes in that last game. I only expect that number to get bigger. They're averaging close to 44 rebounds in the playoffs compared to their 39. And versus Winnipeg, they've been able to average close to 30 rebounds per. For Winnipeg, they've been averaging 30 rebounds per game, compared to their 37 during the regular season. But when you take a guy like Teddy Allen out, who was averaging close to 8 rebounds per game, that's going to hurt you. So really hope that Brampton can take advantage of the glass and continue to do that like they have been through the course of the season. And then my last point is keeping the turnovers down. They're only averaging 7 turnovers per game, Brampton, versus their 14, which was, I think, second worst in the league. And so that's going to be really, really important. But you talked about Winnipeg's defense, one of the best in the league, averaging 10 steals per game during these playoffs compared to their 8.5, which was best during the regular season. So those are things that I'm really, really going to look out for, and see if those teams can take advantage of those.
It's kind of like two teams meeting at the mountaintop. I don't think you want to watch John Summit highlights, do you?
I don't.
I think this is like two teams meeting at the absolute peak here, where, again, Brampton, like you just said, the steal stuff. Brampton playing their best offensive ball in terms of taking care of the basketball. Winnipeg playing their best defensive ball. Like, we've never seen something like this, I think, in the past in the CEBL, where two teams are so primed and ready. And it's not a shot at the past teams and championships and whatever, but you and I following Brampton so closely as well, Joey following Winnipeg, it's like, it just feels like there's so much more to this in terms of where these teams are in their season, how jacked up they are, how juiced up they are. And it's loaded with stars. Like, that's the other thing. This series is loaded with stars. Like, there are so many guys in this that will either have been or will either end up in the NBA or in high-level pro contracts. Like, dude, we were talking about, like, I ran into someone on the street probably 4 days ago, maybe, on Saturday. When was the conference finals for Niagara? Was that Saturday? Saturday.
Yes.
Saturday.
Oh, conference finals? Like Niagara and Scarborough you're talking about? Niagara?
Yeah.
Are you talking about
Niagara and Brampton?
In Brampton,
anyway.
That was that was Wednesday, right?
Wednesday? Was it? No, I thought it was Saturday.
Crazy. Oh no, you're right. Saturday. My bad.
Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah,
Saturday.
Saturday.
So I'm walking around in Toronto on Sunday, and I'm walking by, and again, the coolest thing about the CEBL or CEBL is people rock the gear, man. Like in the GTA, I see it all the time. I see Scarborough stuff particularly, but then you'll run into Brampton things. That's not. And I'm talking to a guy. I run into a guy, and every time I see it, I make a comment or I'll make a point of saying, like, hey, like, you follow the league? That's awesome. Like, thanks for supporting it. Like, it's great that. So this guy says, oh, I'm a big Brampton fan. And I said, oh, well, do you have a chance to go to any of the games? And he goes, oh, I have season tickets. I go to all the games, yada, yada. Well, then he said, what about Trenton Flowers? And he said, that guy should be in the NBA. And we've talked about this a ton of times too. But, like, folks in Winnipeg, if you haven't had a chance to watch Trenton Flowers, like, he's another guy that's just worth your price of admission. Him and Sean East, Moncrief, Hunter, like, toss Cam Tyson shooting from half court and hitting. Like, there's so many guys. And then we get treated to the Winnipeg guys too, man. Xavier Moon, who is what, a 2-time MVP in the league? Like, Xavier Moon, Osborne, McGowan's, Hildebrand. Like, there's so many stars in this finals that, like I said earlier, it's really hard to find a loss in the series, no matter what the outcome is. And it's going to be fireworks. I think there's no real other way to put it, but like I just want the games to begin. Like, I want it to be tomorrow. I want this stuff to go and rip it. And here we go right here. Joey's been talking about Flowers since the weekend, big time. Like, this is a guy D and I are familiar with. Like, he had an injury, which, again, D, what was the story? Like, he sat out 6 months on the couch or something?
Yeah, like I kind of, I'll get back to that point, but I want to latch into your bigger point here. It's, I think this finals and any finals and just through the course of the regular season, like, this is also an opportunity to celebrate, like, sort of the journeyman of the basketball world, right? These are guys that are still trying to prove themselves to get to the bigger level. And Trenton Flowers, perfect example, was playing with the Clippers, was taking photos with Chris Paul on media day, like, future super bright. And then unfortunately hit with an incredibly shitty injury, sprained MCL, I want to say, in January, and his basketball plans and futures were halted. He's only 22, which is a scary thing. And so for this guy to come back, have a scare at Niagara with his knee, and we thought his season was over, and for him to come back, jeopardize his chances because he's fallen in love with this basketball staff, this team, and there's a bigger picture for him and a bigger prize at the end of this, and wanting to, put a crescendo on this season and win the championship. Like you can't help but want to celebrate that. And then on the other side, you got Xavier Moon. Ironically enough, a guy that played for the Clippers, right? And signed with the Clippers, played summer league with the Clippers, was looking really, really good after his stint in the CEBL. And then unfortunately was riddled with an injury as well. And now is fighting his way back up to the top as well. And those are just two of a lot of guys on both sides of the rosters that have similar stories. So, whether Winnipeg wins, whether Brampton wins, there's going to be a lot of small victories for a lot of guys that have been trying to prove themselves, been trying to get back in the good graces of the basketball worlds and faces, and guys that get to make big decisions and trying to achieve their dreams. And so it's just a beautiful finals, man. And you just really can't be mad with either result.
Xavier Moon, 3-time CEBL Player of the Year, 3 years in a row. 2-time final MVP.
That's why it's the X award now.
Dude, that's great. I mean, we talked about the other day, man. If Khalil Ahmad pulled that off, we might have to name it the Khalil Ahmad Award. But I mean, different. It
would be the Scuba Award.
Yeah, the Scuba. Okay, D. Game 1 tomorrow night. You know what I'm going to ask you. I want that prediction, baby. I want that prediction. Give us your predictions in the chat. Give us your prediction in the chat. What do you think is going to
happen? I have been 2 for 2 for Brampton during the course of these playoffs. I'm pretty sure you're 0 for 2, but you have a logic, right? Like reverse jinxing is your thing?
Yeah, reverse jinxing is my thing. And it works out well. I mean, I had a video yesterday that I pulled up of me just jinxing Sean East. Let me see if I can find it. I don't think I have it on here, maybe.
Anyways, I'll give you a prediction while you look for that. If Brampton is going to be victorious in game 1, which I think they will be, I think it'll be a lower scoring affair. Like I said, Winnipeg has been averaging close to 103, 105 points per game during this series. But I think if Brampton wants to win, it has to be a lower scoring game. They'll have to contain the guards, and that's why I think they're going to win 94-87.
Brampton 94-87.
Yes.
Brampton 94-87. Okay. I am going to reverse jinx this as usual. Winnipeg 100, Brampton 4. 100-4. Yeah, Winnipeg's going to beat Brampton. That's my guess. Reverse jinx, ultimate reverse jinx.
So then I got to ask you: Do you think this game goes 2 or 3? Do you think it's a sweep, or do you think Brampton fights for at least?
I think it's going to go. I think it's going to go. It's going to go 3. That was a wink, by the way. No, I think genuinely, I think Brampton will win the first game, and then I think Winnipeg will win the second, and then the third's just going to be a coin flip. It's going to be one of those this needs to go 3.
What a safe answer.
That's the excitement. Like, that's what I want. Selfishly, as a fan, I want that. I want to get the max amount of games we can get out of this series.
Well, also, if I'm making a trip out to Winnipeg, I want to be there for 2 games, not 1 game. So please, basketball gods, come through.
That's also true. Good comment here from that guy, Steady. There are many players having a chance to claim their second ring. Danilo Djurdjic, third finals.
Of course, your guy.
As well. My guy. I love that guy. He's an awesome player to watch. Really cool story for those in Winnipeg that haven't checked him out.
Will Moon have the most rings? Like, I think
Elijah Lufile right now has 3. He won 3 in a row. He's currently won 3 in a row. He won 1 with what was it?
That's crazy.
Was it Scarborough Niagara? Is that what it was?
I think you're correct, because that would have been right, because Scarborough won and then Niagara won the next 2. No.
Yeah, because the East has won the last. Let's see, actually. Elijah Lufile, CEBL wins. I'm pretty sure he's won. Like, he's a 3-time champion. I know that for sure. And I'm pretty sure it was Scarborough, Niagara, because he was with Calgary Surge for a little bit, and then he closed the season out with the Shooting Stars. So it was Calgary that first year, that year with Scarborough, then jumped to the Shooting Stars, won the championship, then won back-to-back in Niagara. So that streak comes to an end. He does have the most CEBL championships or CEBL titles. So Moon would tie him.
It is crazy that the first 3 winners were West teams, and then the next 4 have been Eastern Conference teams.
I mean,
so the West is looking to put some respect on their name again.
Yeah, this is like a statement for not only Winnipeg, but for the
You know what
West
else
as
is a
well.
crazy storyline is like East versus Moon, 2 former Stingers. Like this has got to sting for Edmonton a little bit.
Oh my God! One sec. Say that again. Say that one more time. Where is it? Where is it?
This has to sting a little bit for the Edmonton Stingers.
Yeah, I mean that is true. I mean, Edmonton's kind of been, I mean, since that 2020 and 2020 win back-to-back championships, they've kind of been off the map. Like there hasn't really been much going on in Edmonton.
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far. I feel like they always are slept on in the playoffs, and Jordan Baker and company usually give the opposing teams a fight for their money. This year was a little harder because they didn't have the offensive firepower to keep up with some of these teams. But in the past, at least, like I think they've always kind of been in the mix. No,
They have, yeah. I just think like, again, I don't want to sound like I'm being disrespectful to Edmonton, but I just never really picture them as like a must-watch team in the playoffs. Like I always think like they're in the playoffs, which is good. But I don't, and a must-watch is not the right phrase. I just more picture them as like a team. Like I don't look at them as like, oh,
I was gonna say that to Sean East next time you say him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say. Well, I mean, he's with us now, so it's all good. It's all love. But I think the thing that I think of is like playing Vancouver. When they played Vancouver, I didn't think twice about that in the first round in that Western Conference semis. Like I wasn't like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? Like I was watching the Mamba and Winnipeg game, thinking, man, there's a really good chance shorthanded Winnipeg team drops this to Saskatoon. Like I was more focused on that game. In the Eastern Conference Finals, I dialed in on both games. Like I want to watch those games. And again, it's nothing against Edmonton, but they just don't like they have good guys on that team. Like Tay Donald, I love watching. Nick Hornsby, I love watching. These are history makers in the league, but it's just something about like I love Jordan Baker too. Jordan Baker is one of the classiest dudes to ever grace this league, and whether he's coaching or playing. But the difference is, it's just like I just never really viewed them as like a crazy competitor in the playoffs, and I think the track record would probably tell you that as well lately.
But I would also tell you I feel like that's by design. I think like Jordan likes to build all these all around teams as opposed to like, you know, I mean, again, Sean is kind of an anomaly. He was an MVP candidate. What was he, second to Mitch Creek last year? But no, I get your point. You are making sense.
Like so 2022 lost in playing round, 23 quarterfinal, 24 quarterfinal, 25 playing round, 2026 this year lost in quarterfinal. Like,
oh, fair enough. No, you're right then. Yep.
So it's keep telling me I'm right. This is good. I like this segment. But it's it just ends up kind of being weird where it's like I hate to discount a team, but I just look at it differently where like this game I wasn't really I wasn't looking at it and being like, I need to watch this. That to me was more like a whatever it may be, like what is Vancouver going to win by kind of vibe. Which ultimately again set the table for this crazy game. And then
I mean, there was like a first half scare, right? I thought, remember we were all like, oh, is Edmonton actually going to win this thing? And then
Chris Wiggins texted me like, welcome off the ledge kind of thing. Like this might be it. And then the other day when he texted me for the Winnipeg game, he was like, man, this is over. I'm like, it's literally over. That's why you're saying this. I'm like, you're not mailing this in. The game is literally over, which was
again, it's a classic reverse jinx, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Okay. So that's going to do it for us. Again, big time shout out and thank you to everybody right here. John, thanks for letting the Seabears crowd in. We love the Seabears fans. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. As always, a ton of fun talking hoops with you guys. D and I are excited. We hope you're excited. I'm going to drop the banner here to give you a quick idea of where you can watch. Oh, wrong one. Where you can watch.
And if you made it this far, you're just tuning in. You know, this gets posted in the archives. You can hop in whenever and start the podcast properly and listen to the full conversation. And while you're at it, in the comments section, if me and Matt do decide to come to Winnipeg this weekend, let us know what we have to do and what we have to see. Because I'm going to be making the most out of my trip. So let us know in the comments after this thing's posted. I'd love to know.
We are at your mercy. CBC, TSN, CBC Gem, TSN Plus, YouTube, and CEBL Plus. You can catch all the finals action. Again, game 1 tomorrow, August 12th, 7:00 p.m. Eastern time. Game 2 and 3, the 15th and 16th. That's Saturday and Sunday. Both 3:30 p.m. starts Eastern time. Don't get your times mixed up. Please don't get your times mixed up, because then you're going to miss the games. Then you're not going to like us Eastern folks. And then it's going to be the end of it all. I got to figure out how to get the music going up here and end this stream.
Listen,
but anyway.
No, it's okay. Before you do, listen, Joey did a PSA for Winnipeg. I'm putting one out for Brampton. There are tickets still available. And for God's sake, if I swear, if that building is not packed with Brampton fans, for all those folks that have grown up in Brampton and, you know, you're a Brampton man still, and you carry your heart on your sleeve when it comes to Brampton, and you hate the disrespect or the disrespect that's being put on your name in the city, like, come out and support this team. It's the one game in Brampton. Your team, your pro basketball team, is in the championship game. You should be in there. You should be making noise. And this is a team that you can get behind and be proud of. Look, I love to see it. I love to see it. There should be no blue at all. Okay. There should be no Zada blue at all. Get those tickets.
This is really good. I hadn't been on this in like in a while. This is really good. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I mean, $20. Yes. What do you spend what are you spending $20 on right now in the meantime?
I'm literally going to go grab a coffee and a donut. It's going to cost me $20. I'd rather be at a Honey Badgers game.
Amen. 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 You can, hey, you first person to DM me on Instagram, the color I'm thinking in my head, I'll buy 10 tickets to right here. 5 here, 5 here. You let me know. All right.
Message me. I'll tell you Matt's favorite color.
Really, don't tell him anything. Really good point, though, D. Again, get out, support your team, support your community, support your local franchise. And yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. We had a ton of fun with you guys. We hope that we will see you for game 2 and 3. Again, D might be in the mix there. If not,
one of us has to represent the podcast. I'm going to make it happen.
It's going to be you. I'm starting the music early here. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you guys. Don't forget
Brampton,
to follow Sorry Score Podcast Network. I think you unplugged your mic. Again, follow along Joey Slattery throughout the week. A ton of cool content, live stuff.
Get that honey. Get that honey.